I was a favored child of heaven, but an accident during my cultivation caused my fall. I didn't expect to be reborn as a weakling. Humiliation, danger, and difficulties will all be my help on the road to becoming a strong person. I want to stand on the peak of the world again. Tang Yun, the only young grandmaster of the Tang clan in Shu since its establishment. Although only 16 years old, he has achieved brilliant success in both the poison techniques and hidden weapon skills of the Tang clan, reaching the pinnacle of excellence. Even at such a young age, he broke through to the legendary innate realm, becoming a remarkable figure in the martial world, full of legendary colors, and is the pride of the Tang clan in Shu. However, fate envies talent. Tang Yun, the young grandmaster of the Tang clan, unfortunately perished due to a minor negligence while cultivating the highest scripture of the Tang clan, the mysterious heaven scripture, which led to the rupture of his meridians. Reflecting on the past, Tang Yun couldn't help but feel a myriad of emotions. In his previous life, he was considered the most talented disciple since the establishment of the Tang clan in Shu, possessing superb hidden weapon skills, poison techniques, and profound strength. Breaking through to the innate realm at such a young age was an achievement that even the legendary figure Zhang Sanfeng did not have. As the most outstanding disciple of the Tang clan, Tang Yun naturally had the right to cultivate the highest scripture of the Tang clan, the mysterious heaven scripture. However, it was precisely due to a slight mistake during the cultivation of the mysterious heaven scripture that the young grandmaster Tang Yun, with extraordinary talent, met an unfortunate end. When Tang Yun woke up again, he was surprised to find that he was not dead and that many unfamiliar memories had appeared in his mind. After sorting out his thoughts, he realized that he did not die but was reincarnated into another body. Perhaps God could not bear to see a young man full of legends die tragically, so he gave him a chance to continue living. However, it seemed that God played a trick on Tang Yun, as he was not reborn in his previous world but in a different world called the Tsangqiong continent. 7 days had passed since he woke up, and Tang Yun sorted out the memories in his mind, gaining an understanding of his current identity. He was still named Tang Yun, but not the Tang Yun of the Tang clan, but the third young master of the Tang family in the Tianyan dynasty, Luo Qingcheng. Speaking of the Tang family where Tang Yun was located, it was a powerful force within the Luo Qingcheng of the Tianyan dynasty. The Tang family, located in Luo Qingcheng of the Tianyan dynasty, had been established for hundreds of years, with a prestigious reputation and numerous experts within the clan. They controlled more than 3/10 of the shops in Luo Qingcheng, and the profits earned each year were enough to make innate experts envious. Therefore, the Tang family, along with the other two forces in Luo Qingcheng, the Zhao family and the Di family, were known as the three major aristocratic families of Luo Qingcheng. As the third young master of the Tang family, Tang Yun only needed a little skill to become the rising star of the Tang family or rely on the family's power to live a life of luxury and wealth. However, as the third young master of the Tang family, Tang Yun could not cultivate due to his weak constitution. In the Tsangqiong continent, those who could not cultivate were considered almost useless. Due to this, Tang Yun, who should have enjoyed the glory and wealth that the main branch members of the Tang family could enjoy, was shunned by them, leading some servants to look down on him as a waste of food in the Tang family. Years ago, Tang Yun's father, the head of the Tang family, took good care of Tang Yun. After all, Tang Yun was his own flesh and blood, and nominally the heir to the next family head. However, not long after Tang Yun's mother passed away when he was 10 years old, his father brought back a woman and a boy and a girl from outside. They were the debts left by Tang Yun's father outside. Because he loved Tang Yun's mother very much, he didn't dare to reveal it earlier, but now that Tang Yun's mother had passed away, his father had no scruples. With the arrival of the stepmother, Tang Yun's position deteriorated day by day. Not only did his father no longer care about him, leaving him to fend for himself, there were even rumors in recent years about stripping him of the qualification to inherit the family head position. Originally, Tang Yun didn't care about inheriting the family head position, but his father's indifference and cruelty almost drove the young man to the brink of collapse. In a fit of anger, he ran away from home, but it was raining that day. Before he could leave the Tang family mansion, he slipped and fell, hitting his head on a hard rock, and passed out. When he woke up again, this Tang Yun was no longer the same Tang Yun. The past was like smoke, dissipating into the past, and the useless Tang San was no longer there, only Tang Yenwang, Tang Yun was alive. Moreover, it was not known whether it was due to the reincarnation, but the frail body that had plagued Tang Yun for 16 years had mysteriously disappeared when he woke up again, returning to normal like an ordinary person. Xiao Qian. Tang Yun called out, sitting on the edge of the bed. "Young master, is there something you need?" With a clear voice like a silver bell, the door was pushed open, and a handsome young girl walked in, Tang Yun's personal maid, Xiao Qian. "You've been cooped up in the room for many days, accompany me for a walk outside." Tang Yun looked at the bright sunny day outside and smiled slightly, standing up to walk out of the room. "Young master, you've just recovered from a serious illness, your health is not good, it's better to stay at home. If you run into some young masters and misses outside, they might." Xiao Qian frowned slightly. Normally, their young master wouldn't leave his own courtyard, so why the sudden change to go out for a stroll? "It's okay, at most, they can only talk, they wouldn't dare to touch me." Tang Yun pulled Xiao Qian and walked towards the courtyard. Although his status in the Tang family was low now, he was still the son of the family head, and those people could only insult him verbally, they wouldn't dare to lay a hand on him. Because the entire Tang family knew that the third young master of the Tang family had a weak body, even a woman could overpower him. If they hurt him badly, there would be consequences to face. No one would want to get involved because of a sickly person. Walking out of the courtyard, the warm morning light fell on him, warm and cozy. Tang Yun's frustration from being reincarnated had reduced a lot, and a look of enjoyment appeared on his face. However, a glint of cold light flashed in his slightly narrowed eyes. "Third young master Tang, I, Tang Yun, am not someone who doesn't repay kindness. Since I've taken over your body for a revival, as compensation, those who have insulted you in the past will all pay the price. And I will help you regain the glory that belongs to you. However, the position of the family head of the Tang family, I, Tang Yun, am not interested in it. I want to establish the terrifying reputation of the Tang clan here and spread the name of the Tang clan far and wide in this world. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a waste for me, Tang Yun, to live this life in vain? Watch closely, I will make you and me step onto the peak together, to see what kind of scenery it is when the world bows down before us." As the most talented disciple of the Tang clan since its establishment, Tang Yun had his own pride. Even though he was currently powerless, he firmly believed that one day, he would step onto the peak again. The reason for Tang Yun's immense confidence was entirely because he had memories of many Tang clan scriptures in his mind. Although not all of the Tang clan scriptures, at least 80% of them. And the highest scripture of the Tang clan, the mysterious heaven scripture, was also stored in his memory and had not been lost due to the reincarnation, which made Tang Yun quite pleased. These would be his capital for rising again in this different world. "Oh, isn't this my sickly third brother? It's been a while, I thought you were dead, but turns out you're still alive. TSK, looking like that, living must be quite a punishment." Tang Yun was enjoying the sunshine when suddenly a sarcastic voice sounded in his ears. "Young master, let's go back." Hearing the sarcastic voice, Xiao Qian's face changed slightly, and she was about to turn around to pull Tang Yun away, but Tang Yun didn't move. Instead, he stood quietly in place, turned his head, and looked into the distance. "Young master." Seeing Tang Yun standing still, Xiao Qian stomped her foot in frustration, gritted her teeth, and helplessly stepped forward to shield Tang Yun. Tang Yun's gaze followed the voice to see a young man around 15 or 16 years old, followed by two Tang family servants, leading a fierce dog, swaggering towards Tang Yun. Although Tang Yun had never seen this young man before, upon seeing his appearance and hearing his voice, a name and identity quickly flashed through Tang Yun's mind. The young man was none other than Tang Yun's second uncle's son, the seventh young master of the Tang family, also his seventh younger brother, Tang Lang. Xiao Qian, you're getting more and more beautiful after a few days of not seeing each other. Tang Lang walked up to Tang Yun, first sizing up Xiao Qian in front of Tang Yun. A hint of lustful light flashed in his eyes, then smiled at Tang Yun. Third brother, you are frail and sickly, not long for this world. With such a beautiful maid by your side, you can't even enjoy her. Isn't that a waste? Why not give her to me? Holding back the angry Xiao Qian, Tang Yun looked at the young man in front of him, who, despite calling him third brother, was full of disdain and mockery, and his eyes narrowed slightly, flashing a cold light. Xiao Qian is mine. Who do you think you are to come and ask from me? Get lost. You sickly wimp, I give you face by calling you a third brother. If I don't, who the hell do you think you are? Dare to talk to me like that, let me show you today. Stifled by Tang Yun's words, Tang Lang's face turned very ugly, rolled up his sleeves, and took a step forward angrily, ready to confront Tang Yun. Tang Yun, who had just been reborn, had no cultivation at all, still had a weak body, and was no match for Tang Lang. If the other party really wanted to fight, Tang Yun would probably just end up getting beaten. How dare you? Seeing Tang Lang about to attack Tang Yun, although Xiao Qian was afraid, she didn't hesitate to step forward to protect Tang Yun. However, just as Xiao Qian lifted her foot, she was stopped by Tang Yun. If you have the guts, go ahead and attack. I want to see if you dare touch me. Seeing Tang Lang's darkening face, Tang Yun's lips slightly curled, his gaze cold and provocative. Seeing Tang Yun's defiant look, Tang Lang was a bit at a loss. He dared not lay a hand on Tang Yun. Although Tang Yun was considered useless in the Tang family, he was still the son of the family head. If he accidentally killed this sickly person, he would be in big trouble. He had only intended to scare Tang Yun, as the old Tang Yun was easily frightened. If Tang Yun was scared, he could save face. But he never expected that the current Tang Yun was completely different from the past. Faced with his threats, Tang Yun completely ignored them and stood there quietly, looking at him provocatively. Tang Lang was really in a difficult position. How come you don't dare to touch me? If you don't dare, then get lost and stop bothering us. Tang Yun, who was familiar with the special situation in the Tang family, was confident that Tang Lang wouldn't dare to lay a hand on him, a sneer playing on his lips. You. Although he was now furious, Tang Lang had to suppress his anger. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to control himself and might accidentally kill this annoying waste in front of him, which would bring him huge trouble. This was definitely one of the most frustrating times for Tang Lang. Clearly, the other party was not his match, but he couldn't bring himself to attack, which was extremely uncomfortable. What if I let the dog bite this waste, even if it bites him to death? As long as I push the blame to the negligence of the servants, I won't have any responsibility? Looking at Tang Yun still looking sickly, a malicious thought quietly arose in Tang Lang's heart, a coldness flashing in his eyes. Thinking of this, Tang Lang signaled to his servants behind him. As loyal lackeys of Tang Lang, they naturally understood what this signal meant. They exchanged a glance and were ready to release the leash in their hands. What are you doing? A strong and bright voice suddenly rang out. Clang! Hearing this familiar voice, Tang Lang's heart suddenly stopped, then turned around nervously to face the newcomer, forcing a smile. Oh, it's Master Tang Dun, I was just talking to third brother. Upon hearing the voice, Tang Yun immediately pictured a robust figure in his mind. The newcomer was called Tang Dun, the master who guided the young generation of the Tang family in martial arts practice. He was fair-minded and one of the few in the Tang family who didn't look down on Tang Yun, sometimes even reprimanding those who bullied Tang Yun. Tang Dun had an extremely burly figure, like a standing bear. Just standing there quietly without any movement, he exuded an invisible pressure. Tang Yun didn't feel much, but Tang Lang found it difficult to breathe. Oh? Really? Tang Dun looked at Tang Lang with some doubt, full of disbelief, then turned to Tang Yun beside him, and asked in a deep voice, Tang Yun, is Tang Lang bullying you? If so, you can tell me. Thank you for your concern, Master Tang Dun. Tang Yun shook his head, looking at Tang Lang with disdain. The seventh brother seemed eager to get close to me, but he doesn't have the guts. Although Tang Dun didn't detect any hidden meaning in Tang Yun's words, Tang Lang understood them crystal clear. His face turned pale and green, looking very ugly. He glared at Tang Yun, saying, "Since Master Tang Dun has something to discuss with third brother, I won't disturb you further. I'll leave first." After speaking, he turned and left with his two servants. Tang Yun, Tang Lang is currently at the triple heaven realm of the acquired realm. If you have nothing to do, it's better not to provoke him to avoid getting into trouble. Watching Tang Lang's departing figure, Tang Dun sighed, then turned around to face Tang Yun, speaking with a heavy tone. Triple heaven realm of the acquired realm? Tang Yun was slightly surprised. In his memory, he only knew that the Tang family valued martial arts training, but there were no records of the levels of cultivation. Yes, the triple heaven realm of the acquired realm. Although it's quite ordinary, it's considered good strength among the younger generation of the Tang family. Tang Dun nodded. Master Tang Dun, can you tell me how the martial arts cultivation is divided into different realms? Tang Yun was intrigued by Tang Dun's explanation. Tang Dun looked at Tang Yun with a puzzled expression. Why are you interested in this? Just curious. Tang Yun habitually narrowed his eyes slightly, touching his nose. Well, let me explain it to you today. Tang Dun led Tang Yun to sit down at a stone table. The triple heaven realm of the acquired realm is just the third realm in the acquired realm. The acquired realm is divided into 10 realms in total. If one reaches the 10th realm, it's the complete realm of the acquired realm, and in the vast Tianyan Empire, one can be considered a master. Complete realm of the acquired realm? It sounds similar to the complete realm of the acquired realm from the previous world. However, in the previous world, there was no such detailed division of realms, only the complete realm of the acquired realm. Tang Yun thought silently to himself, then suddenly had a bright idea. So, Master Tang Dun, after the complete realm of the acquired realm, is it the innate realm? Huh, you know? Tang Dun paused, looking at Tang Yun with suspicion. Yes, after the complete realm of the acquired realm, one can step into the innate realm. It's a realm much stronger than the complete realm of the acquired realm, still divided into 10 realms. Once one reaches the 10th realm, it is the complete realm of the innate realm. Indeed, this world and the previous world have some similarities. Tang Yun slightly narrowed his eyes, touched his nose, a faint smile appearing on his lips. Finally, in this unfamiliar world, he found a sense of familiarity. Tang Yun suddenly asked, Master Tang Dun, after the complete realm of the innate realm, are there still realms beyond that? Yes, but I have no idea what those realms are. Cultivating in the innate realm is already extremely difficult. Countless people spend their whole lives trying to break through to the complete realm of the innate realm, let alone surpassing it. It's almost legendary. Tang Dun nodded, but his expression was somewhat desolate. He was currently at the 8th heaven of the acquired realm. Though it seemed like there were only 2 realms separating him from the innate realm, he knew that he might never reach it in his lifetime unless he had some extraordinary encounter. A realm beyond the innate realm. Hearing Tang Dun's explanation, Tang Yun's mind was somewhat excited. In his previous life, he was only a master at the innate realm, which was already a legendary realm in the martial arts world. But now, learning that the innate realm was not the end, and there were even stronger realms above it, how could he not yearn for it? I'll stop here for today, I have things to attend to, so I'll take my leave. After explaining the realms of cultivation, Tang Dun stood up and left. Tang Dun, please take care. Tang Yun bowed to Tang Dun's departing back as a sign of gratitude. It seems that it's time to start training again. Only by having strength can one control their own destiny. Watching Tang Dun's departing figure, Tang Yun slowly sat down, squinting his eyes slightly. Cold light flickered in his eyes. Today, if Tang Yun had half of his previous strength, crushing Tang Lang would be as simple as crushing an ant. Moreover, Tang Yun knew that Tang Lang might have murderous intentions towards him. The resentful look in his eyes before leaving was captured by Tang Yun. According to his personality, he would never tolerate any threats to himself alive in this world. This is also the ancestral motto passed down from generation to generation in the Tang sect. Any enemy that poses a threat or potential threat must be mercilessly eliminated. However, Tang Yun is not Tang Lang's opponent now, he can only let him live a few more days. It seems that no matter where you are, having strong strength is the key. However, cultivation is not something that can be achieved overnight. Tang Yun urgently needs self-defense now, so for Tang sect disciples, poison is undoubtedly the best choice. Thump, thump, thump. Tang Yun's slender fingers rhythmically tapped on the table, his face showing a pensive look. Then he looked up and asked the maid Xiao Qian beside him, "Xiao Qian, do you know where we can find snake grass, poppy flowers, and black blood fruit? These medicinal materials are in the storage room, young master. May I ask why you need them?" Xiao Qian furrowed her delicate eyebrows, puzzled. "I have my reasons. Please go to the storage room and get them for me. Also, bring back an alchemy furnace for me." Tang Yun smiled slightly without explaining. "You want to make medicine, young master?" Xiao Qian looked at Tang Yun in confusion. "But these things are poisonous." She was increasingly unable to understand her young master. After a serious illness, not only did his temperament change drastically, but his behavior also became strange. "No need to ask more questions, just go." Tang Yun stood up, waved his hand, and then walked towards his courtyard. "I'll be waiting at home. Hurry up and come back." "All right." Since it was the young master's request, Xiao Qian had no choice but to agree. She hurried off to the storage room. Because the young master was sickly, Xiao Qian had run to the Tang family's storage room many times to fetch some common medicinal materials and a regular alchemy furnace. It was not considered troublesome, and soon Xiao Qian brought these items back to the courtyard. "Well done." Tang Yun looked at the alchemy furnace and medicinal materials in front of him, nodded in satisfaction, praised Xiao Qian, and then said, "Xiao Qian, you've been busy all day. Go rest now." Tang Yun was actually trying to dismiss Xiao Qian because he was about to make Tang sect's poison, and according to the ancestral motto, when a Tang sect disciple makes poison, no one is allowed to watch. Even the lowest level poison in the Tang sect is a secret that cannot be leaked. Although this was a different world, Tang Yun still adhered to the ancestral teachings and did not dare to be negligent. "Okay." After a day of hard work, Xiao Qian was tired. "Okay." After a day of hard work, Xiao Qian was tired. She just cheered and left the courtyard. After Xiao Qian left, Tang Yun closed the door of the courtyard, made sure no one was nearby, and then turned to look at the alchemy furnace and medicinal materials placed not far away. His pale face gradually became serious, and a dim light shone in his dark eyes. "The glory of the Tang sect will begin to shine on this continent from today." Tang Yun deeply exhaled the impurities in his chest, walked to the faint brown alchemy furnace, lit the flame, added wood continuously, and soon the fierce flames turned the furnace red. The heat waves rolled like tides, making Tang Yun's pale cheeks flush, and fine beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. When the furnace reached the right temperature, Tang Yun opened it, carefully placed the black blood fruit, which looked as if it were stained with ink, into it, and began roasting it. As the black blood fruit entered the furnace, it was instantly engulfed by the blazing flames. A thick black viscous liquid began to flow out of its surface. Tang Yun carefully controlled the flame temperature to ensure that the essence of the black blood fruit was extracted, without burning it to ashes. After an hour of painstaking effort, Tang Yun successfully extracted the essence of the black blood fruit. By the time he took it out, it had turned into a pool of black liquid. He carefully poured it into a prepared bowl. Next, he began to extract the essence of the poppy flower and snake grass. With his exquisite control of the fire, he successfully extracted them despite the difficulty. The essence extracted from the snake grass appeared as gray granules, while the poppy flower essence appeared as colorful, beautiful ashes. If a Tang sect disciple were present, they would know that the poison Tang Yun was preparing was called the soul-stealing 5 steps powder. Soul-stealing 5 steps, stealing the soul in 5 steps. Unfortunately, I don't have true energy in my body. Otherwise, preparing this poison would be much easier. Now, I have to use the most primitive method. Tang Yun complained softly as he took out the medicinal materials from the furnace. Tang Yun carefully merged the essence extracted from the 3 medicinal materials together. After half an hour of effort, he finally successfully prepared the soul-stealing 5 steps powder. Looking at the colorful, soul-stealing 5 steps powder in the white cloth bag in his hand, Tang Yun felt a little lost in this strange world but finally felt settled. With the successful preparation of the poison, the next step was to start formal cultivation. Relying on external objects is not as reliable as relying on one's own strength. Tang Yun put away the soul-stealing 5 steps powder and returned to his room to prepare for cultivation. Through Tang Dun, Tang Yun learned about the cultivation realms on the Azure continent. Although they were similar to his past life, there were still some differences. In his past life, cultivation in the acquired realm relied on hard work and tempering the body, while on the Azure continent, it relied on absorbing the natural energy to refine the body. Although Tang Yun didn't understand how absorbing the natural energy worked, he figured it involved operating techniques to refine the internal energy, so he didn't pay much attention to it. Inside the room, Tang Yun sat cross-legged on the soft bed, palms placed on the lower abdomen, eyes closed slightly, silently circulating the supreme scripture of the Tang sect, the mysterious heaven scripture. With memories from his past life, Tang Yun quickly cultivated the first strand of internal energy in his body. Feeling the flow of energy joyfully circulating through his limbs, Tang Yun smiled contentedly. Cultivating the first strand of internal energy meant he had the potential to cultivate further, so he continued to focus on operating the technique. As the technique circulated, Tang Yun felt a pleasant sensation all over his body. Special energies converged from all directions, flowing into his body. So, this is the natural energy? Tang Yun was momentarily stunned as the special energy flowed into his body with the technique. He understood that this was what Tang Dun referred to as natural energy. With a large amount of natural energy entering his body, Tang Yun felt his meridians expand, causing a slight pain. He understood that this was the limit his meridians could bear and immediately stopped absorbing natural energy. He began to calmly refine the natural energy he had absorbed into his body. Following the mysterious heaven scripture, Tang Yun guided the natural energy in his body to circulate continuously in a small cycle. With each cycle, the natural energy in his body became purer, and the meridians it passed through expanded and strengthened by more than twice the original size. The next time he cultivated, he would be able to absorb more natural energy. 4 hours passed, and it was late at night. The moon was bright, and the dim moonlight seeped through the window, adding a touch of brightness to the dark room. Phew! Tang Yun came out of the cultivation state, exhaling a cloudy breath. His eyelids trembled slightly as he slowly opened his eyes. A sharp and bright light flashed through his eyes, shining brightly. Getting off the bed, Tang Yun felt the weakness in his body completely disappear. Clenching his fists, he sensed the surging internal energy within him and said with a smile, "With my current strength, I should have reached the so-called acquired realm first stage. The natural energy here is indeed powerful. It used to take me 3 days to reach this level, but with the help of the natural energy here, I can achieve it in just a few hours." Unaware that if news spread that he had broken through from a waste to the acquired realm first stage within 4 hours, it would immediately alarm everyone in the Tang family. Although the acquired realm first stage cultivation level was not much for the Tang family, it was Tang Yun's cultivation speed that was truly terrifying. Even the most talented disciple in the history of the Tang family took 5 days to reach the acquired realm first stage in the past. Now, Tang Yun had achieved it in just 4 hours. Despite having memories from his past life and the profound, mysterious heaven scripture, the main reason was still Tang Yun's talent. The achievements of the so-called Tang family genius were simply insignificant compared to Tang Yun. However, Tang Yun himself did not pay attention to his cultivation speed. Now that I have internal energy and poison, I can start formal cultivation of the mysterious Heaven 3 refinements. Tang Yun looked at the bag containing the soul-stealing 5 steps powder beside him, a look of excitement on his delicate face. The so-called Xiantian 3 refinements are the most basic and important martial arts in the Xiantian classic. It can be said that all the hidden weapon techniques and poison arts of the Tang sect rely on the Xiantian 3 refinements. However, none of the disciples of the Tang sect have the qualifications to practice all of the Xiantian 3 refinements, except Tang Yun. Since the establishment of the Tang sect, he is the only disciple qualified to practice the Xiantian 3 refinements. The Xiantian 3 refinements are divided into 3 steps. Of course, it is not a gradual progression, each step is independent. The first refinement of Xiantian is the method of refining the hands, called Xianyu hand. As everyone knows, Tang sect disciples often deal with poisons and hidden weapons. Carelessness may result in poisoning or injury. After practicing Xianyu hand, the hands of the practitioner can become like Xianyu. Not only can they remain flexible, but they can also touch any poison freely without worrying about being poisoned. Therefore, Xianyu hand is essential for Tang sect disciples who frequently come into contact with poisons and hidden weapons. In the previous life, Tang Yun had practiced Xianyu hand to the extreme. Even the most domineering poison, Xianfu meteor, in the world could be played with at will in his hands, showing the power of Xianyu hand. However, the initial stage of practicing Xianyu hand is very dangerous. It requires using various poisons to temper the palms. If successful, Xianyu hand can be considered somewhat accomplished. If failed, it could result in minor disability or even loss of life. Of course, the effect obtained in return is very worthwhile. The second refinement of Xiantian is a method of refining the eyes, called Ziyao evil eye. As you may know, the Tang sect is famous not only for its powerful poison arts but also for its unparalleled hidden weapon techniques. If Tang sect disciples want to reach the peak in the art of hidden weapons, Ziyao evil eye is essential. The launch of hidden weapons requires eyes to aim and lock on the target. When Ziyao evil eye is cultivated to a certain level, one can see through all illusions, even make predictions. No matter how fast the speed, it cannot escape the lock of Ziyao evil eye. In the past, Tang Yun, who had cultivated Ziyao evil eye to the extreme, faced the so-called number 1 in lightness skills, Qiu Inha, and subdued him with just one move. As for the third refinement of Xiantian, it is called Ghost Shadow Phantom Step. This is the supreme body technique and lightness skill of the Tang sect. When cultivated to perfection, walking 1,000 miles during the day and 800 miles at night is not just a saying. It can even create illusions at the extreme, with a maximum of 9 phantom images to confuse the enemy. Therefore, Ghost Shadow Phantom Step is also known as 9 Hades Ghost Step. In the previous life, before his downfall, Tang Yun had just cultivated this set of body techniques to the point of creating 9 phantom images. However, even the number 1 in lightness skills, Qiu Inha, was no match for him. The ancestors of the Tang sect once said that if any disciple could cultivate all the Xiantian 3 refinements to the extreme, then that disciple would be the most outstanding one since the establishment of the Tang sect. In fact, this is true. And now, Tang Yun wants to restore his former glory in the Tang sect, so practicing the Xiantian 3 refinements is the only choice. Even if Tang Yun wants to re-establish the Tang sect in the vast continent, he can only rely on the Xiantian 3 refinements, as many of the Tang sect's secret techniques are based on the Xiantian 3 refinements. Now, Tang Yun wants to recultivate, and Xianyu hand naturally comes first. Because Xianyu hand in the Xiantian 3 refinements is the most dangerous and the simplest martial art to practice. To practice Ziyao evil eye, One needs to absorb the first sunlight between dawn and sunrise every day and also absorb the first lunar air between evening dusk and sunset, the blending of yin and yang to cultivate zi yao evil eye. As for practicing ghost shadow phantom step, one needs to continuously train in actual combat to achieve the best effect. Given Tang Yun's current situation, where could he find a sparring partner to practice? Only practicing Xian Yu hand is the simplest, just needing to temper the palms with different poisons to achieve the best results. Since he has decided to practice, Tang Yun's decisive character does not allow any delay. He adjusts his state immediately and prepares to use soul-stealing 5 steps powder to practice Xian Yu hand. Tang Yun sat on the bed, a solemn expression on his delicate face. Even though he had practiced Xian Yu hand before, starting again required caution. Any mistake could have unimaginable consequences. At this moment, in front of Tang Yun, there was a cloth bag containing soul-stealing 5 steps powder. Slowly exhaling a breath, Tang Yun suppressed his somewhat excited mood. Calm as a pond, his gaze firmly fixed on the white cloth bag. Taking it in hand, he gently shook it to pour out some colorful poisonous dust. Hiss. Although soul-stealing 5 steps powder is only the lowest grade poison of the Tang sect, its toxicity is fierce. As soon as Tang Yun poured it into his hand, the intense toxicity of soul-stealing 5 steps powder erupted. In an instant, a severe stinging sensation followed by a pitch-black color rapidly spread over Tang Yun's palms. Fortunately, Tang Yun was prepared. He took a deep breath of cold air, lightly drank, disregarded the spreading toxicity on his palms, clasped them in front of his chest, closed his eyes slightly, and began to practice the method of a Xian Yu hand. Clang clang. As the technique operated, the sparse qi in Tang Yun's body rushed towards his palms like a tide. Faintly, the sound of surging water under the skin could even be heard. Beep beep. The intense toxicity of soul-stealing 5 steps powder was not something the current amount of qi in Tang Yun's body could suppress. However, Tang Yun didn't even try to suppress it. The qi avoided the intense toxicity and surged towards a point in the center of his palms. Puff. The toxicity of soul-stealing 5 steps powder erupted too quickly. In less than 4 breaths of time, Tang Yun's slightly fair cheeks were already pitch black. With a muffled groan, a dark purple blood spurted from his throat, his breath becoming weak, as if he could die at any moment. But just as Tang Yun's life hung by a thread, a millet-sized jade-colored light spot suddenly flashed in the center of his palms, emitting a bright luster. The gleaming jade-colored light spot rotated violently in Tang Yun's palms like a whirlpool appearing in the sea, attracting the toxicity of soul-stealing 5 steps powder raging in Tang Yun's body towards it like seawater. Any toxicity approaching the jade-colored light spot disappeared as if falling into an abyss. Tang Yun's complexion began to return to normal, and the darkness on his cheeks faded away like receding tides, as if it had never appeared. Tang Yun knew that these toxins were not eliminated but sealed in the 2 acupoints in the center of his palms. Whenever he wanted, he could release them, not harming himself but harming his enemies. Therefore, rumors in the martial world say that every Tang sect disciple who practices Xian Yu hand should not be provoked. They are like poisoned people, full of toxins, and cannot be touched. Little did they know that the severe toxins of Tang sect disciples are hidden in the acupoints in their palms. Tang Yun's Xian Yu hand is still in the initial stage with the millet-sized light spot. Once it reaches completion, when activated, his palms will be as jade, immune to all poisons, and can release the toxins they have absorbed to kill enemies, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. After forcing all the remaining toxins in his body into the center of his palms, Tang Yun breathed out a sigh of relief and stopped the technique. Although swallowing severe toxins and practicing Xian Yu hand seems simple, it is extremely dangerous. If the jade-colored light spot had appeared a step slower just now, Tang Yun would have been a corpse by now. Therefore, even Tang Yun felt a lingering fear, and his clothes were soaked with sweat. However, after the shock, he felt excited. Although practicing Xianyu hand will still require swallowing severe toxins in the future and remain dangerous, the most difficult hurdle has been overcome. Tang Yun is confident that these dangers will not stop him. Because practicing Xianyu hand is most dangerous the first time, as the human body has no resistance to the toxins at that time and is easily killed by the severe poison. After the first time, the body develops resistance to severe toxins. The second time, although still dangerous, is much less than the first time. This continues until the end, where swallowing the so-called severe toxins is probably like eating candy. After the excitement, Tang Yun realized it was already midnight and dawn was approaching. He cleansed himself, climbed to the roof of his small courtyard, and waited for dawn to absorb the first sunlight from the sky to practice Ziyao Evil Eye. Dawn breaks with a gloomy sky, the air lingering with strands of cold mist. Yet to the east, a hint of pale light emerges, followed by a golden-red sun that slowly rises from below the horizon. In the small courtyard, Tang Yun sits cross-legged on the roof, facing eastward, his gaze fixed unblinkingly on the distant sunrise. Within his body, he cultivates the purple glare evil eye technique. A faint purple light, akin to a membrane, clings to his pupils, shimmering slightly with an eerie allure. As the sun leaps into the sky, a burst of energy purer than the natural essence of heaven and earth suddenly appears. It is the utmost rigid, pure, and positive energy of the sun. When this solar energy emerges, Tang Yun's expression remains composed, undisturbed, as he pushes his technique to its limit. The purple light on his pupils starts to spin like a vortex. With the spinning of the purple light in his pupils, an almost imperceptible golden-red beam streaks from the distant east and plunges into the swirling purple light of Tang Yun's eyes. After the golden-red light floods his pupils, Tang Yun sees nothing but this color, and a burning pain sears his eyes as if threatening to blind him. Yet, Tang Yun does not panic. He operates the purple glare evil eye, slowly absorbing the golden-red light. After about an hour, he has completely absorbed the golden-red light. His vision clears, and he can see more sharply than before. Standing on the roof, he can make out details of objects hundreds of meters away. This is an additional benefit of the purple glare evil eye, enhanced eyesight. Having finished his morning cultivation of the purple glare evil eye, Tang Yun jumps down from the roof, returns to his room, and takes out a dose of poison to temper his palms. After successfully tempering his mysterious jade palms again, Tang Yun is drenched in sweat. After washing up and changing into clean clothes, he has breakfast and resumes cultivating the mysterious heaven scripture, absorbing the essence of heaven and earth to expand his meridians and strengthen his internal energy. Tang Yun has maintained this monotonous cycle of cultivation since his rebirth, and it has been 3 months to date. Fortunately, as long as he stays within his courtyard, no one disturbs him. His progress in these 3 months has been remarkable. His mysterious jade hands have developed to the point where the jade-like luster in his palms has grown from the size of a rice grain to that of a soybean, concealing 5 potent poisons. The purple glare evil eye has 3 stages: micro, sumeru, and breakthrough. Tang Yun has already reached minor completion in the micro stage. As for ghost shadow elusive steps, he has yet to cultivate it due to the lack of a suitable training ground and its requirement for real combat, which his current situation does not meet. In just 3 months, Tang Yun's cultivation of internal energy has reached the strength of postnatal 5th layer. With his various techniques, he could probably contend with a postnatal 7th layer practitioner. Such achievements are truly astonishing. Putting aside the speed of cultivation, just the level of his cultivation makes him a standout among the younger generation in the Tang family. However, as a disciple of the Tang sect, Tang Yun is accustomed to keeping his cards hidden and thus keeps a low profile without boasting about his accomplishments. The Tang family probably still sees him as he was 3 months ago, not realizing that a man can never be judged by his old reputation. Tang Yun's intense dedication to his training, without giving himself a moment's respite, is wholly for the Tang family's annual ancestral worship ceremony 2 months from now. The ceremony is a significant annual event for the Tang family. During this time, regardless of how busy one is, everyone must return to the clan to offer sacrifices to the ancestors and heaven, praying for the family's continued prosperity, a tradition passed down in the Tang family and every clan. The ceremony consists of 2 stages. The first stage involves offering sacrifices to the ancestors and heaven with various elaborate rituals. The second stage, the main event, is something the younger generation of the Tang family highly values, known as the annual assessment. It is essentially an annual evaluation. Every year on this day, the Tang family tests the younger generation to see what progress they have made over the past year. The first round of testing measures the internal energy of the younger members, with postnatal 5th layer as the benchmark. Those above the 5th layer receive special attention from the family and enjoy abundant cultivation resources. Those below the 5th layer, regardless of their status, are treated as ordinary clan members. In such a large family, there is no such thing as kinship, only personal talent, effort, and strength matter. Although harsh, it is an essential method for a family's prosperity. Therefore, whether from the main line or a branch, the younger generation of the Tang family practices diligently, hoping to break through to the postnatal 5th layer, before the ceremony to gain the family's recognition and leap forward like a carp transforming into a dragon. After learning about the ceremony, Tang Yun began his frenzied cultivation. Of course, Tang Yun isn't participating in the ceremony to make a grand entrance or show off. He needs to prepare a large amount of poison to temper his mysterious jade hands. But preparing poison requires herbs, including some precious ones. With Tang Yun's current status, using common herbs is not an issue, but accessing those precious materials is impossible. Only by standing out in the ceremony can he gain the family's attention and enjoy the best treatment. Furthermore, Tang Yun has learned that those who perform well in the ceremony will be eligible to select a martial arts technique from the martial pavilion to practice. In 3 months, Tang Yun has gained some understanding of this new world, knowing that it possesses skills that can unleash the strongest power of a warrior's internal energy, called martial arts. Martial arts range from 1 to 9 grades, with 1 being the lowest and 9 the highest. Rumor has it that the Tang family's martial pavilion contains a 4th grade martial art with the power to split rocks and stones, something Tang Yun has long wanted to witness. After all, in this different world, if one wishes to become powerful, one must rely on the things of this land. Since he has decided to participate in the ceremony, Tang Yun cultivates even more diligently. Though a postnatal 5th layer cultivation level is already outstanding among the Tang family's younger generation, it is still not enough to achieve a good result. Luckily, with 2 months left, it is highly possible for Tang Yun's cultivation to rise again. After all, a prodigy who soared from a mere waste to the postnatal 5th layer, in just 3 months would surely make progress in another 2 months. Anything less would be unbelievable to anyone. As a disciple of the Tang sect, it feels strange not to have hidden weapons by my side. Another 10 days have passed, and Tang Yun has firmly advanced his postnatal 5th level cultivation to its peak, ready to break through to the postnatal 6th level at any moment. However, these days Tang Yun has been feeling quite uncomfortable, because, as a Tang sect disciple, he doesn't have any hidden weapons on him. If this were in the Tang sect, it would be an inconceivable situation. Everyone knows the ancestral teachings of the Tang sect, even the lowest ranked disciples carry hidden weapons every day. Yet Tang Yun, who takes pride in being a member of the Tang sect, currently has no hidden weapons on him. Not even the most basic throwing coins. Therefore, Tang Yun felt quite uneasy inside. Xiao Qian. After pondering for a long time, Tang Yun decided to get some hidden weapons, and as he walked into the courtyard, he called for his maid, Xiao Qian. "Young master, I'm here." Hearing Tang Yun's call, Xiao Qian hurried over. "Why run so fast? Be careful not to fall." Watching Xiao Qian's reckless manner, Tang Yun smiled faintly. "Xiao Qian, do you know where I can find a place that forges weapons?" "You want to forge weapons, young master?" Xiao Qian looked at Tang Yun with puzzlement. Ever since the young master woke up, not only had his temperament changed drastically, but his actions had also become strange. He would either lock himself in his room all day or tinker with something in the pill furnace. Xiao Qian even saw the young master sitting on the roof at dawn to watch the sunrise. At first, Xiao Qian almost thought the young master had gone mad. However, as time went by and she saw that Tang Yun seemed quite normal, she didn't take it seriously anymore. After all, although the young master's behavior was odd, his health was getting better and better, which was a happy matter. No, I was just asking. Tang Yun shook his head. The people here didn't know what hidden weapons were, and even if he told Xiao Qian, it would be in vain, so he decided not to mention it. Oh. Xiao Qian nodded and replied, in Luoqing City, there's a place called Sharp Edge Emporium that specializes in selling and forging weapons. Perfect, the weather is nice today, I'll go for a walk. Knowing there was a place that could forge hidden weapons, Tang Yun was eager to go. Not having hidden weapons felt like a smoker without cigarettes. Young master, do you need me to accompany you? Xiao Qian had been at ease these days with Tang Yun always staying in the small courtyard and not going out, but now that she heard Tang Yun was going to leave the Tang residence, she immediately became anxious and asked. Don't worry, nothing will happen, I'm not a child. Tang Yun refused to take Xiao Qian with him, smiled faintly to reassure her, I'll definitely be back before sunset, don't worry. After saying that, he stepped out of the courtyard. Sigh, the young master is getting harder and harder to understand. Watching Tang Yun's departing figure, Xiao Qian shook her head slightly and let out a mock sigh of maturity, then seemed to amuse herself with a giggle, her laughter as clear and pleasant as a silver bell. Leaving the courtyard, Tang Yun went on his way. Along the road, he encountered some servants and Tang family disciples with disdainful faces, but he did not pay too much attention to them, letting them point fingers and call him trash behind his back without any change in his expression. 2 months from now, I want to see if you still dare to be so arrogant in front of me. A cold light flashed in Tang Yun's eyes, and with a cold smile, he left the Tang family residence. Sharp Edge Emporium was located on a bustling street in Luoqing City, not very far from the Tang family residence. After leaving the residence, Tang Yun headed straight for the street according to his memory. The street was bustling with people, and the sounds of noise and hawking were incessant. Tang Yun strolled on the street, observing the local customs and feeling that there was no difference from before. For a moment, he thought he had returned to his previous world, but he quickly came to his senses. No matter how similar, I am ultimately an outsider here. Tang Yun shook his head sadly, shook off the sorrowful emotions, looked up around him, and saw that he had arrived at Sharp Edge Emporium. As the largest weapons shop in Luoqing City, Sharp Edge Emporium naturally had a luxurious facade, resplendent with gold and grandeur. At the entrance stood 2 slightly raised stone pylons, placed to the left and right, and a gilt plaque bore 3 ancient and vicissitudes-filled characters, Sharp Edge Emporium. Seeing such grandeur, Tang Yun was secretly amazed. Sir, what type of weapon do you need? Our Sharp Edge Emporium has all 18 types of weapons, all of fine quality. We also have weapons forged from black iron, guaranteed to satisfy you. As soon as Tang Yun set foot in Sharp Edge Emporium, a shop boy came running over with a flattering smile on his face. As a shop boy at Sharp Edge Emporium, he had seen all kinds of people. Although Tang Yun in front of him was dressed very plainly and did not look like a wealthy person, the shop boy vaguely felt that this young man had an imposing air and was definitely not simple, so he dared not look down on him. The weapons are indeed not bad. Tang Yun glanced around the large shop and saw that all the weapons on the racks were ordinary items. While they might not be able to cut hair or break upon blowing, they were certainly extremely sharp. Sharp Edge Emporium truly lived up to its reputation. Satisfied with the craftsmanship of Sharp Edge Emporium, Tang Yun nodded subtly and turned to the shop boy beside him. Do you have a master blacksmith here who can tailor-make weapons for customers? Sir, you want to have a weapon tailor-made? The shop boy looked at Tang Yun with curiosity. Those who requested custom-made weapons were either playing around or were genuine experts who knew what kind of weapons suited them best. However, after looking at Tang Yun, the shop boy categorized him as the former. Don't you have one? Tang Yun's brows furrowed slightly. In principle, these weapon-selling shops should all have their own master blacksmiths. It was impossible for a large shop like Sharp Edge Emporium not to have one. We do, but the price. The shop boy looked at Tang Yun with some difficulty, still unsure of Tang Yun's confidence. So he probed with his words. Price is not an issue, as long as it can be forged. As the third young master of the Tang family, Tang Yun might not have a lot of money, but he certainly had some savings. With the savings he had accumulated over the years, he had a small fortune, enough to craft some hidden weapons. Yes, of course, we have. The shop boy, fearing Tang Yun's dissatisfaction, quickly replied. Then, please take me there. Tang Yun waved his hand. Sir, please follow me. Our Sharp Edge Emporium's Master Ouyang is a renowned master blacksmith in Luoqing City. His skill in forging weapons is unmatched in the city. Having Master Ouyang tailor-make a weapon for you would be most suitable. The shop boy bowed slightly, gestured with his hand, and led Tang Yun with a sycophantic smile towards the back of the shop. Tang Yun followed the area behind the Sharp Edge Emporium. Shop was a spacious courtyard filled with various forging tools and furnaces. This must be where Sharp Edge Emporium forges its weapons. Master Ouyang, are you there? The shop boy came to the door and called respectfully. What is it? A deep voice came from the room. Postnatal 8th level. Hearing this voice, Tang Yun's eyes sharpened, originally thinking it was just an ordinary blacksmith, but it turned out to be a master with considerable strength. It's like this, Master Ouyang. A customer wishes for you to tailor-make a weapon for him. I wonder if you would be willing to take on the task. The shop boy spoke softly, then looked apologetically at Tang Yun. Sir, I apologize. Master Ouyang has a bit of a peculiar temper. If he likes the person requesting the weapon, he will be willing to forge it. If not, he won't even bother. Please understand, it's all right. Knowing that the other party was a postnatal 8th level master, Tang Yun was also interested in making an acquaintance. Although Tang Yun was now a postnatal 5th level peak master, he knew that the subsequent realms were increasingly difficult to cultivate. Even with his talent, he could not guarantee that he would reach the postnatal 8th level in a short period. One should maintain respect for a master. Let him in. Master Ouyang's deep voice rang out again. Sir, you may enter now. The shop boy looked surprised and pleased, speaking to Tang Yun. Tang Yun nodded, pushed open the door in front of him, and stepped into the room. Master Ouyang? Looking at the slender but resolute-faced middle-aged man before him, Tang Yun called out uncertainly. In his imagination, those who forged weapons should be muscular, burly, with beards and chest hair, rough men. But reality and fantasy were too far apart. The man before him looked nothing like a master blacksmith. However, Tang Yun knew that appearances could be deceiving and did not act rudely. Is it you who wants me to forge a weapon? Bring out the blueprint for me to see. Master Ouyang didn't care about Tang Yun's gaze and opened his mouth, his voice rolling out deeply. Here are the blueprints of the weapons I want to forge. Please take a look, Master Ouyang. Tang Yun composed himself and took out the blueprints of the hidden weapons he had drawn from his chest. This time, the hidden weapons Tang Yun needed to forge were relatively simple, low-level weapons, well-known ones, one called Coin Dart and another called Dragon Whisker Needle. Although these hidden weapons were easy to imitate, without the specific techniques of the Tang sect, their power would be average. Therefore, Tang Yun directly handed the forging blueprints to Master Ouyang. These two blueprints not only depicted the shapes but also detailed the length, thickness, and weight. Even a blacksmith of a lower level than Master Ouyang could make them, though the quality would vary. For Tang sect disciples, the quality of hidden weapons was of utmost importance, just as swordsmen cherish their precious swords. Upon seeing the blueprints, Master Ouyang immediately frowned, his first thought being that the young man before him was deliberately trying to provoke him. But as he continued to look, he felt that these two oddly shaped items contained some profound secrets. Master Ouyang's calloused hands, which were used to holding blueprints, trembled slightly and uncontrollably, overwhelmed with emotion at this moment. He had already discerned the profound mysteries of the two peculiar weapons. The weapon described in the first blueprint, at first glance, seems nothing more than a simple ring that has been sharpened around the edges to make it lethal, hardly anything extraordinary to the untrained eye. But Master Ouyang, a true weapon master, immediately sensed the murderous aura emanating from this strange weapon. If one could channel their vital energy into the ring without the enemy's notice and then suddenly release it, given the sharpness required to craft such a ring, it could strike a vital point with terrifying consequences. However, upon further thought, something seemed amiss. The ring was too small to control effectively, even with vital energy, and while it might be adequate against the average person, it would likely be insufficient against a martial artist of the acquired fivefold level or higher. Yet, seeing Tang Yun's calm demeanor, Master Ouyang guessed that this young man before him was anything but ordinary. If he had designed such a weapon, he surely knew how to wield it. And could a youth who could design and devise methods of using such a weapon be simple? One could guess the answer without even using their toes. The weapon recorded on the second blueprint was even more bizarre, a steel needle finer than the common sewing needle, requiring the crafting of thousands. The shock came when Master Ouyang saw the material required, soft steel. Soft steel is an exceptionally peculiar metal, hard as steel yet very flexible. Those who prefer soft weapons use it to craft their arms. Infused with vital energy, it can become as rigid and straight as any weapon, and when the energy is withdrawn, it reverts to its supple state, easily bending at will. If Master Ouyang's deduction was correct, the purpose of these fine needles would be to shoot them straightened by vital energy into an enemy's body. Once inside and the energy is gone, the needles would soften, becoming entangled in flesh due to the pressure of blood and muscles, difficult to remove without cutting out the affected flesh, causing excruciating pain. Such a vicious and insidious weapon left Master Ouyang wondering how the young man before him could have conceived it. It was utterly horrifying. To instill such trepidation in an acquired eightfold martial artist, the might of the Tang sect's hidden weapons was evident. Of course, this was under the prerequisite that one possessed the corresponding hidden weapon technique. Otherwise, even with a box of torrential pear blossom needles, how could you harm those martial artists protected by their vital energy? However, if Master Ouyang knew that these were merely the most basic of Tang sect's hidden weapons, he would probably be paralyzed with fear. Phew. Master Ouyang calmed his restless heart, placed the blueprints back on the table, exhaled a turbid breath, and closed his eyes. Only when his emotions were completely settled did he reopen them. But upon opening his eyes, a bright, piercing glint shone in them, directed straight at Tang Yun as he said gravely, "Young man, despite your youth, I did not expect such heavy murderous intent and that you would design such despicable and evil weapons." Master Ouyang truly lives up to his reputation as a renowned refining master of Luoqing City, able to deduce the purpose of these two weapons at a glance. "I'm impressed," Tang Yun replied, his gaze clear and unafraid, meeting Master Ouyang's eyes. "However, I must disagree with you calling my weapons despicable and evil." "Disagree?" Master Ouyang snorted coldly. "These two weapons, take the first one for example, seem ordinary but hide deadly intent. The second one, if one is struck, will surely cause unbearable pain, a longing for life without hope and a desire for death without release. Isn't that considered vicious?" Tang Yun merely smiled lightly, his eyes narrowing slightly as a sharp glint flickered within them. Suddenly, Tang Yun raised his voice, "Master Ouyang, I ask you, weapons are inanimate objects. How can they be labeled as despicable or evil? Weapons being despicable and evil? That's the talk of the mediocre. The nature of a weapon should not be judged by the weapon itself, but by the person who wields it. You call these two weapons despicable and evil. So, if I were to use these weapons to execute those who commit heinous crimes, would that still be considered despicable and evil?" There is no inherent good or evil in weapons, it all depends on the wielder's heart. After finishing, Tang Yun slightly bowed to the astonished Master Ouyang. No offense, Master Ouyang. A statement that truly regards the heart. Tang Yun's words struck home, yet they caused Master Ouyang's eyes to shine. After hearing the last sentence, he actually slammed the table in approval. Where is the fault, young friend? It is I, Ouyang, who was confused. I will forge these weapons for you with all my might. Thank you, Master Ouyang. Tang Yun was delighted and thanked Master Ouyang. No need for thanks, young friend, Master Ouyang waved his hand. Your words today have really opened my eyes. It's been a long time since I've met someone so agreeable. If you don't mind, just call me Brother Ouyang. May I have the honor of knowing your name? Tang Yun. Tang Yun responded with a slight smile and a cupped fist salute. I've met Brother Ouyang. So, you are young Brother Tang. Master Ouyang laughed heartily. If you have such weapons in the future, bring them to me at once. I will forge them for you with all my effort, ensuring your satisfaction. Then I must thank Brother Ouyang here. Tang Yun already intended to befriend Ouyang, and since the latter was generous and had a sense of justice, otherwise, he would not have scolded a guest for the malicious nature of his hidden weapons. Such a person was naturally worth befriending. Master Ouyang laughed. Leave the blueprints here and come collect them tomorrow. Tomorrow? Tang Yun was briefly surprised. That's quite a workload. Heh, although your request requires meticulous work, it's quite simple for me, Master Ouyang said with a secretive smile. Why? Does Brother Ouyang have some secret technique? Tang Yun couldn't suppress his curiosity and inquired. Master Ouyang just gave a mysterious smile. You don't need to worry about that, just come get your things tomorrow. All right then. Tang Yun knew that some forging secrets were very important to a weapon master and should not be disclosed, so he did not press further. After exchanging pleasantries, he left Sharp Edge. To think that coming to forge a weapon could lead to meeting a master, I'm quite lucky, Tang Yun mused cheerfully, heading back to the Tang household. Xiao Qian, as the personal maidservant to the third young master of the Tang family, naturally possessed an unmatched beauty, making her one of the most sought-after individuals within the Tang residence. Consequently, several of the Tang family's young masters coveted her. However, Xiao Qian always stayed by Tang Yun's side, protected by her master, and rarely ventured out. This deterred the frivolous suitors, as no one dared to snatch her away from Tang Yun's courtyard, fearing the loss of their dignity should word get out. But ever since Tang Yun insulted Tang Lang, the latter harbored resentment and plotted revenge. To kill Tang Yun? Impossible within the Tang family grounds. Despite being considered useless, he was still the third young master and the son of the family head. Murdering him would bring severe punishment upon the killer. After much deliberation, the only way to exact revenge was to kidnap someone close to Tang Yun. And who was closer than his maidservant Xiao Qian? With Tang Lang already lusting after her, he decided to take Xiao Qian to vent his anger. This would not only torment Tang Yun, possibly to death, but also allow him to indulge in abusing Xiao Qian, a win-win scenario. If the plan were to be exposed, Tang Lang would at most be scolded, avoiding any serious trouble. Thus emboldened by malice, he sent several servants to capture Xiao Qian from Tang Yun's courtyard. Coincidentally, when the servants arrived, they found Tang Yun was not at home, and Xiao Qian was alone, greatly facilitating their task. So, they stealthily infiltrated Tang Yun's courtyard. After Tang Yun left early in the morning and had yet to return, Xiao Qian waited anxiously but dared not leave the residence on her own. During her wait, she suddenly heard noises in the courtyard. Thinking Tang Yun had returned, she excitedly ran out only to find a group of Tang family servants instead. Frowning, she demanded, "Who are you? Who allowed you to enter? Little miss." The servants, sent by Tang Lang, realizing their presence had been discovered, exchanged glances and smirked viciously. "Miss Qian, our young master wishes for your company. Please do us the honor." "Your young master?" Xiao Qian's frown deepened as she sensed trouble, her expression changing as she asked, are you sent by young Master Tang Lang? Since you already know Miss Qian, please accompany us, the lead servant said with a lecherous smile. Don't worry, our young master will take good care of you. Xiao Qian's expression turned grave. I am young Master Yun's personal maidservant. If young Master Lang seeks an audience with me, he must go through young Master Yun. Otherwise, as a mere servant, I cannot leave the courtyard without permission. Tang Lang, the seventh young master of the Tang family, though idle and unlearned, still held a certain status. Despite her close relationship with Tang Yun, Xiao Qian was still a servant and had to obey a young master's summons. However, she knew going with them would be extremely dangerous and thus invoked Tang Yun's name as a shield. To her dismay, the lead servant's smile turned icy upon hearing her response. You ungrateful wench, given some color, you open a dye shop. You're just a servant of a useless master. It's an honor for young Master Lang to desire you, and yet you dare to resist. Brothers, grab her and bring her to young Master Lang's bed. As his command fell, he waved his arm, and the other two servants pounced on Xiao Qian like hungry wolves. Fie, the audacity! As servants, you dare to act violently in the direct descendant's courtyard. Once young Master Yun returns, you will be punished for insubordination. Xiao Qian's expression shifted as she dodged to the side, chastising them. Feisty little thing, not bad at all. Seeing Xiao Qian evade the grasp of the two strong men indicated she had some martial arts foundation. The Tang family valued martial prowess, and even servants had the opportunity to practice martial arts, albeit low-level techniques that allowed them to reach the Houtian third or fourth levels at most. For example, these three servants were at the Houtian third level on par with Tang Lang, although Tang Lang was only 15 years old and the servants were already in their early 20s. Xiao Qian herself possessed the strength of the Houtian second level. You lot better scram, or do you really want young Master Yun to charge you with the crime of insubordination? Xiao Qian, though less powerful, managed to evade for the moment but knew it was only a matter of time before she would be captured. She hoped to scare the servants away and deal with the rest later. Unbeknownst to her, these men had received a strict order from Tang Lang to capture her at all costs. Faced with the choice of offending the useless Tang Yun or the relatively influential seventh young master of the Tang family, their loyalties were clear. Tang Yun? That useless person dares to be called a young master? Pah, he's not even fit to shine my shoes. The lead servant sneered, a surge of pale blue energy gathering in his palm, creating a fierce gale as he reached for Xiao Qian. Is that so? I'm not worthy to shine your shoes? I'd like to see what makes a lowly servant so bold as to insult a direct descendant of the Tang family. Just then, a voice filled with murderous coldness suddenly echoed in the courtyard, chilling the air. The servant attempting to capture Xiao Qian, hearing this familiar yet estranged voice, was startled and showed an unsettled expression. He retracted his hand and turned around, forcing a sycophantic smile, so young Master Yun has returned. Although he addressed Tang Yun as young master, his expression was devoid of any respect, filled with mockery. Ignorant fool. Tang Yun's eyebrows rose, and an intense aura of menace gathered between them. Master. Seeing Tang Yun return, Xiao Qian knew she was safe from today's peril. She called out with a mix of relief and grievance, rushing into Tang Yun's embrace like a homing swallow. Dear one, Tang Yun soothed, gently patting her back, were you mistreated? Xiao Qian looked up, tears swirling in her eyes but stubbornly refusing to fall, and shook her head, you've suffered by my side. Seeing Xiao Qian like this, Tang Yun's heart ached. Turning his unfriendly gaze to the servants, he spoke softly, from now on, no one can bully you. If anyone dares, I will take their life. Master Yun, our young master simply wished to invite Miss Qian to the mansion. Perhaps you could hand her over to us, so we may fulfill our duty. The lead servant boldly approached Tang Yun. Want to take Xiao Qian away? Tang Yun's lips curled slightly, his eyes sharp as blades. Then I'd like to see if you have the lives to leave my courtyard. Master Yun, we are merely following young Master Lang's orders. If you refuse, naturally we won't insist. However, offending young Master Lang may make your future rather difficult. The lead servant replied with a chilling smile, now openly threatening. Humph, whether or not I'll have a difficult life is unknown to me, but what I do know is that you will no longer have a life to continue. Tang Yun's handsome face showed a hint of ferocity, and a jade-like luster began to glow in his concealed palms. Hearing this, the lead servant's face shifted, a chill rising in his heart, but he mustered his courage and said, "Since Master Yun is unwilling to let us take Miss Qian, we shall take our leave. Farewell, Master Yun." With that, the three servants attempted to leave the courtyard. As the legitimate young master, I'm living a rather miserable life. Tang Yun couldn't help but reveal a bitter smile as he watched three family servants wreak havoc in his courtyard, and then nonchalantly attempt to leave without paying any heed to him standing aside. However, just as the three servants took a step to leave, Tang Yun's expression instantly turned dark, and a cold smirk formed at the corners of his mouth. "Did I say you could leave?" Hearing Tang Yun's voice, the servants stiffened and halted their steps. They turned around, looking at Tang Yun with some impatience. "What further instructions do you have, young Master Yun? You can leave my courtyard, sure. But you'll have to leave your lives behind." A murderous aura surged within Tang Yun's bright, dark eyes. As a disciple of the Tang sect, which was both righteous and evil, he was accustomed to acting without restraint. Being new here, he had been suppressing himself, but today, these despicable servants dared to bully him, and he could not hold back any longer. "Leave our lives behind?" The leading servant was briefly stunned, then burst into laughter. "Leave us behind? Who could possibly do that in this courtyard? You, the useless young Master Yun?" The two other servants beside him laughed unrestrainedly and without inhibition. "Bringing disaster upon yourselves." Tang Yun snorted coldly, his steps shifted as he unleashed the ghost shadow phantom step. His internal energy surged, and he transformed into a blurred shadow, lunging at the leading servant as he bellowed, "Die." As his words fell, a flash of jade light appeared. Tang Yun's palms whipped up a gust of wind, striking towards the leading servant. "He's supposed to be useless, how is this possible?" The leading servant, who had thought of Tang Yun as a waste, was startled by the fierce attack. Without time to think, he reflexively struck back with his palm, his internal energy shimmering with a pale blue light as he met Tang Yun's attack. Boom! The two palms collided, and a dull thud echoed as a disheveled figure was sent flying backwards from the point of impact. Ugh! The servant crashed against the wall without a sound, falling to the ground. A glance revealed that he had already died, his face blackened. Not to mention that Tang Yun's cultivation of internal energy far surpassed that of the servant. The deadly poison within his palms alone was something no one below the 7th level of the acquired stage could easily resist. To engage barehanded with a disciple of the Tang sect was simply courting death. Was that the strength of the 5th level of the acquired stage just now? The remaining two servants looked at each other with terror in their eyes, feeling as if their scalps were exploding. The strongest among them had been killed by Tang Yun with a single palm strike, so killing them would be as easy as flipping his hand, and it seemed that Tang Yun intended to do just that. Terrified, the two servants quickly knelt before Tang Yun, wailing, "Spare us, young master, please spare our lives. You two have likely done plenty of dirty work by Tang Lang's side. How could I let you off? Die." As per the ancestral teachings of the Tang sect, one must not leave any survivors once they make a move. With a cold laugh, Tang Yun flicked his fingers, and 2 drops of poison shot out from his palms, landing on the foreheads of the two servants. The intense poison took effect instantly, turning the faces of the servants black and green. Their eyes rolled back, and they collapsed to the ground, foaming at the mouth, as life quietly slipped away. "You killed them all, young master?" Xiaoqian was somewhat frightened by the sight of the 3 corpses in the courtyard, but she was not so scared as to lose her sanity and scream. Seeing dead bodies was not unusual in a grand family like the Tangs. They would only be a nuisance if left alive. A cold light flashed in Tang Yun's eyes, and the jade color on his palms faded away. Next is Tang Lang. Since he has constantly sought trouble with me, it seems I can't let him live. Young master, Tang Lang is after all the seventh son of the Tang family, and his status is not that of a servant. If you kill him, it may bring considerable trouble, Xiao Qian said, although she did not know when her young master had become so powerful. But seeing his grim expression, she knew that if Tang Yun said he could do it, then he surely could. Of course, I'm not going to kill him now. Tang Yun's eyes were cold. As a disciple of the Tang sect, he knew exactly when was the best time to eliminate an enemy without causing trouble for himself. Now, Xiao Qian, take care of the bodies. Tang Yun curled his lips and walked towards the house. After a few steps, he stopped, turned around, and tossed a jade bottle to Xiao Qian, corpse dissolving powder. Just pour it on the bodies, and that should do it, so you don't have to go through any trouble. The strange things you have, young master, are becoming more and more numerous, Xiao Qian muttered under her breath. She approached the bodies, pouted her cherry-red lips, and tilted the jade bottle, spilling out a pale yellow powder. The bodies immediately started to hiss, dissolving into a pool of yellow liquid. Back in his room, Tang Yun went to the window, lay down, and clasped his hands behind his head, frowning deeply. He pondered how to kill Tang Lang without alarming the Tang family. After much consideration, if Tang Lang, the seventh son of the Tang family, were to die within the Tang residence, it would certainly cause a great uproar, and the investigation might lead back to Tang Yun. After all, there were many powerful figures in the Tang family. Being one of the three great families of Luoqing City, the Tang family was not to be underestimated, and Tang Yun was wary of them. For the sake of Tang Lang, it was not worth exposing himself. Punishing a direct descendant of the family was a capital offense in the Tang family, regardless of who committed the act. Otherwise, Tang Yun, deemed a useless young master, would not have been able to live securely up to this point. Helplessly, Tang Yun chose to wait. He did not believe that Tang Lang would stay within the Tang residence forever. No, my current strength is too weak. Killing someone is not as easy as I wish. One day, I must craft some of the hidden weapons from the Tang sect's hidden weapons manual. Then, even innate experts need not be feared. To possess the hidden weapons from the Tang sect's hidden weapons manual is to be a true disciple of the Tang sect. It was commonly rumored that the Tang sect's greatest strength was its poison arts, but that was not entirely true. In fact, the Tang sect's prestige in the world came from two treasures. The first was called the Xiantian scripture, the supreme sect-defining scripture of the Tang sect. The second was the Tang sect hidden weapons manual. The Tang sect hidden weapons manual ranked 36 hidden weapons, and each one, combined with special techniques, was an unparalleled lethal weapon, enough to make innate experts tremble with fear. It was rumored that the second-ranked hidden weapon in the Tang sect hidden weapons manual once instantly killed 10 fully guarded innate experts, demonstrating the manual's dominance. As for the number 1 ranked hidden weapon in the Tang sect hidden weapons manual, even Tang Yun had only heard of its name but had never seen it. After the incident with Tang Lang's men targeting someone close to him, Tang Yun considered whether he should prepare some storm pear blossom needles for Xiao Qian, which did not require much skill to unleash astonishing lethality to protect herself. Incidentally, the infamous storm pear blossom needle of the Tang sect, widely discussed in the outside world, was only ranked 34th in the Tang sect hidden weapons manual. It's a pity that the hidden weapons in the Tang sect hidden weapons manual are difficult to craft and require a lot of materials. Gathering the materials alone could take up half a year's time indeed. Confronting the Tang family over Tang Lang is not a wise decision right now. After much thought, Tang Yun decided to spare Tang Lang for the time being. Whether it was to cultivate the Xian Jade Hand or to craft hidden weapons, the resources required were immense, and it was impossible to achieve alone without leveraging the power of a faction. Otherwise, just searching for resources would waste a lot of Tang Yun's time. Having made up his mind, Tang Yun focused his mind and began to cultivate urgently. He assumed the cultivation posture on the soft bed and quickly entered the state of cultivation, as the abundant energy of heaven and earth surged towards him. Meanwhile, Tang Lang, who had been unwittingly added to Tang Yun's blacklist, was still waiting in his own courtyard, expecting his lackeys to deliver Xiao Qian, whom he had long coveted. But despite waiting left and right, there was no sign of them. Little did he know that his 3 lackeys had already been permanently dealt with by Tang Yun and would never return. Waiting was futile, and perhaps, at this very moment, Tang Lang's lackeys were waiting for him on the road to the underworld. After returning to his separate residence within the Tang family compound, it was already late in the day. Having finished some trivial matters, dusk was approaching as the sun set beyond the mountains and darkness gradually emerged. Tang Yun climbed onto the roof of his quarters, facing westward, his gaze firmly locked onto the orange-yellow sun that was about to disappear, unblinking. As the sun completely sank and the first touch of darkness appeared, a very cold yet extremely pure energy surged between heaven and earth. Tang Yun quickly closed his eyes and activated his purple gleam evil pupil. Instantly, a faint purple light clung to his pupils, slowly rotating to form a vortex, emanating an inexplicable gravitational pull. In an instant, a stream of orange-yellow air mixed with a trace of pure white rushed from the west at high speed, pouring into Tang Yun's eyes. This stream of air was entirely different from the extremely young and robust energy of the morning sun. It contained the utmost yin and softness, the purest Tai-yin energy from between heaven and earth. As the Tai-yin energy entered his eyes, Tang Yun only felt a bone-chilling coldness filling his eyes, his vision a vast expanse of white. He quickly operated the purple gleam evil pupil, absorbing the extremely precious Tai-yin energy. After the Tai-yin energy was absorbed bit by the purple gleam evil pupil, the overwhelming whiteness in his eyes began to dissipate slowly, like melting snow. Tang Yun felt that the first stage subtlety of his purple gleam evil pupil had significantly advanced. Once he reached the Sumeru stage, it would unleash its true power. At the same time, Tang Yun also noticed that the strand of solar energy formed at dawn and the strand of Tai-yin energy from the sunset, when merged in his eyes, began to blend yin and yang. This change caused a subtle transformation in Tang Yun's pupils. Not only were his black pupils brighter than before, but if one looked closely, they could see a vague pattern of yin and yang fish at the bottom of Tang Yun's eyes. As someone who had practiced cultivation, Tang Yun naturally knew that once the vague yin and yang fish pattern became clear with the nourishment of the solar and Tai-yin energies, it would signify the completion of the subtlety stage of the purple gleam evil pupil and the breakthrough to the Sumeru stage. However, this seemed like a distant goal for the current Tang Yun of few. After refining the last trace of Tai-yin energy in his eyes, Tang Yun exhaled the turbid air in his chest slowly and gradually opened his half-closed eyes. A faint purple light flickered from the depths of his pupils, bright and dazzling. Looking up, Tang Yun realized that the sky had completely darkened, with neither moon nor stars, just an oppressive darkness without a hint of light. However, the surrounding darkness had no effect on Tang Yun. It was as bright as day for him, thanks to his night vision ability. Tonight, I will definitely break through to the 6th level of the Hotian stage. For no apparent reason, such a thought suddenly popped into Tang Yun's mind. Tang Yun was slightly startled, then realized that this must be a sign of an imminent breakthrough. Without wasting this rare moment of inspiration, he leaped off the roof and ran back to his room to begin cultivating. Once back in his room, Tang Yun sat on the bed, assumed the cultivation posture with his hands over his dantian, and began to circulate the Xiantian scripture. Instantly, the vital energy in his body began to circulate through his limbs and bones like machinery, while the energy of heaven and earth also surged towards him. In an instant, layers of dense, fog-like energy of heaven and earth enveloped Tang Yun, pure white like milk, delicate and sticky. At this moment, if a strong practitioner at the Hotian Great Perfection stage were present, seeing Tang Yun's cultivation, they would be immediately ashamed to the point of suicide. A Hotian Great Perfection practitioner's speed of absorbing and exhaling the energy of heaven and earth would probably only be at this level. Of course, most of this was due to the Xiantian scripture, the highest classic of the Tang sect. Without it, even if Tang Yun had good talent, it would not be possible to progress so quickly. After all, the relationship between a martial artist's cultivation and the technique they practice is crucial. If one were to compare the Xiantian scripture with other techniques in this world, it would be top tier. Wave after wave of pure white vital energy, following Tang Yun's breathing, flowed into his body like a stream, circulating within his limbs and bones according to the trajectory of the technique, one big cycle following another. As the vital energy circulated within his limbs and bones, Tang Yun's meridians swelled terribly, but he gritted his teeth and persisted, allowing the pure vital energy to continuously expand his meridians. Moreover, as the vital energy circulated, Tang Yun's skin pores also slowly opened, and strands of black, sticky impurities were continuously expelled, a foul smell filling the room. However, Tang Yun did not even frown and continued to operate the technique with all his might. After orderly absorbing the energy of heaven and earth for about half an hour, Tang Yun's body trembled. His body became like a high-powered pump, crazily absorbing the surrounding energy of heaven and earth at a speed several times faster than before. Whoosh! Amidst the surging of the energy of heaven and earth, one could even hear the rolling sound like the tide. As the vast and roaring energy poured into his body, Tang Yun's originally calm aura began to boil like hot water, rising step by step, reaching a critical point, then gathering all the momentum into a sharp spearhead, thrusting fiercely. Pop! A soft sound of a muffled pop was heard as the critical point was broken through, and Tang Yun's cultivation ascended to a brand new realm. Not only were the meridians in his body more than twice as wide as before, but the vital energy stored in his dantian was also much more abundant and pure. His muscles, bones, and flesh had also been strengthened to a certain extent. After the breakthrough, everything returned to calm, the energy of heaven and earth dissipated, and the surging vital energy inside Tang Yun gradually quieted down. Opening his eyes, a flash of brilliance passed by, and an excited smile unconsciously crossed his handsome face. Finally, I've broken through to the 6th level of the Hotian stage. The Hotian 6th level is a watershed in the cultivation of the Hotian realm. Without sufficient talent, this barrier is very difficult to break through. After the breakthrough, the practitioner's body undergoes a huge change, greatly enhancing all aspects, like a rebirth. A Hotian 6th level martial artist can take on 5 Hotian 5th level martial artists, which is the best proof. A cultivation at the Hotian 6th level among the younger generation of the Tang family would already be a top existence. For the upcoming family ceremony, Tang Yun was becoming more and more confident. The breakthrough took a whole night, and by the time it ended, it was already approaching dawn. After taking a bath and changing into a new set of clothes, Tang Yun felt refreshed and invigorated. With a slight smile, he leapt onto the roof, ready to absorb the solar energy produced at the instant of the transition from darkness to dawn. This habit had been maintained for many years and had almost become Tang Yun's biological clock. He didn't need anyone else to remind him, he could grasp the timing on his own. And his unchanging tenacity and ability to endure hardship over the years were also essential factors for Tang Yun on the path to becoming a strong martial artist.